Manchester United beat Tottenham Hotspur 2-0 in a Premier League encounter. I bet you didn't really know that, considering all of the hullabaloo that has been happening has surrounded a person who wasn't even part of the game and who, according to certain reports, actually refused to be part of the game. I am referring, of course, to Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, Ronaldo was on the subs bench but left the game before the full-time whistle was blown, and as a result has now faced disciplinary action from his manager Erik ten Hag, who's actually dropped him from the United squad for the upcoming league match against Chelsea. It is a bold statement of intent from Ten Hag, because remember, Ten Hag has only just come into the job this year, and one of his biggest challenges will of course be managing a superstar of this caliber. But Ten Hag has chosen to put the collective over, of course, one individual, but that does have an unintended fallout, which of course means that there are going to be questions asked about where exactly does Ronaldo fit in, whether or not he even fits into United long term, and what about Ronaldo's legacy going forward. Well, those are the things that we're going to attempt to try and answer in this particular video. But before we do that, let's actually just take a quick look at what exactly is the incident that has got so many United fans irate at their superstar man. Now, the first thing is worth noting was that when United played Tottenham Hotspur the season before, in fact, Spurs manager Antonio Conte had said that we didn't lose to United last year, we lost to Ronaldo. Well, this time around, Ronaldo was named on the bench, not on the playing 11. He was, named on the bench, and Marcus Rashford was preferred to him in the starting 11. Now, the interesting reason after the match that Ten Hag gave was because they needed an intense press to counter Spurs, and which quite clearly sends a message that Ronaldo was probably not going to be the man to bring in said intense press. Now, he was named on the subs bench, but that has been the case quite regularly this season. He has sometimes come off the bench as an impact player. That, generally speaking, seems to be the role that he's playing under Ten Hag, because Ten Hag wants a more dynamic forward line, and Ronaldo, fit as he may be, doesn't quite have the legs to be running around for 90 minutes at this stage of his career. Now, the problem doesn't really start there. The problem comes from the fact that he was pictured leaving the ground. In fact, he was going down the tunnel and then subsequently left the stadium before the game ended. Considering at that point only 3 substitutions had been made by United, and the fact that there was scope for at least 2 more to be made, it left many people wondering why exactly a player would do that. I mean, the answer was obvious. He was throwing a tantrum. But it still doesn't speak to his great professionalism or, the want or the need for the team to do better, that he was actually choosing to walk off just because he didn't get to start the game. He was clearly miffed, and he reportedly, according to certain media reports, which have actually come from some of the biggest publications in the world, so check those out if you haven't to, is that he was asked to come on by Ten Hag, but Ronaldo actually refused to come on, and it was after that he chose to walk. Now, obviously, when Ten Hag was questioned about this after the game, he said that, I saw it happen, but I'm not going to deal with it right now. I will deal with it tomorrow, and deal with it tomorrow he did, because now he's been dropped from the squad that will be taking on Chelsea in the upcoming game week. Now, the main reason for this actually happening is because this isn't even the first time this season that he's done it. I mean, technically, the other incident of similar nature happened in pre-season, but it still happened, and it did not leave Ten Hag very happy even back then. Remember, Ronaldo missed the entirety of this year's pre-season, citing family reasons, but of course, the main reason was that he was reportedly pushing very hard for a transfer that didn't actually come through. Now, the main reason he did that was because, of course, he wanted to play for a Champions League club, but eventually he chose to actually return to United's pre-season, and the first match that he plays was up against Rayo Vallecano in this summer. Now, that match too, he was played as a sub. He was brought off the field, and then once he was subbed off, he actually chose to leave the field, and that was something that even Ten Hag back then said he wouldn't tolerate. And in fact, if this recent infringement has proved anything, is that Ten Hag is very true to his word. He didn't tolerate Ronaldo's disrespect, and instead dropped him from the Chelsea game. And not just that, he's also actually made him train away from the main squad. He will be spending the rest of the week training alone, and it is only by or before Monday that he will actually be allowed to link up with the rest of the squad. Now, it is also worth noting that Ronaldo has put out an apology on Instagram saying that he got carried away with the heat of the moment, but it's an apology in name only, because he didn't actually really own his actions. All he said that it was a heat of the moment reaction. He didn't apologize. All he said was that we are Man United, we have to be together, this and that. It's as close to a non-apology as possible, so I'm not really touching on that, but it's on Ronaldo's social medias. Go ahead and check that out if you so please. Now, the main reason why this is such a problem is because, truth be told, there's been a lot of a spotlight on Ronaldo this year. I mean, it always is, but he very publicly actually tried to leave United in the summer this year. And the simple fact of the matter is that any club who was in the Champions League and also interested in Ronaldo eventually ended up dropping their interest due to two main reasons. One is that Ronaldo's style of play can be very hard to accommodate when you're trying to play collectively like a team. A Ronaldo team is all about Ronaldo, and there's no other way that the team will function. The other, of course, being the finances involved. Remember, Ronaldo is on about a 500k pounds per week deal at United, so obviously that's hefty money. You would expect that to at least be matched, if not outright, increased. So most clubs realize that having an aging Ronaldo on your books probably not really worth it, neither from footballing perspective nor from a financial perspective. So he does, of course, have only a year left on the deal that he signed with United, because it was only a short-term deal. But if he does actually, see out this year, then he will very likely be a free agent in the coming year, and then might actually attract just a little bit more interest, because again, those other problems don't go away. He will have gained, his body will have aged further, and he will also still be having very exorbitant financial demands in terms of salary. Even though there's no transfer fee, the salary itself will set a lot of clubs back. So whether or not he actually gets a club who are going to be playing in the Champions League the coming summer as well remains to be seen. But the one reason why we are asking, will a club want him, is not just because of his exorbitant salary demands or the fact that teams will have to accommodate around him. Teams will in fact do that for players who they deem, will actually have a positive impact. In Ronaldo's case, that would be, of course, being an example to the players in the dressing room and also fulfilling his end of the bargain, that is, of course, scoring goals. But perhaps more importantly, it involves being professional. Ronaldo, during the second year of his return to United, which you remember started off like a dream and actually ended pretty well considering he scored 24 goals over last season, has been so far this season a nightmare. Not only has his performance levels dipped considerably, he's not been a regular part of the team. There's been a circus that has followed him around off the field, and that has been a distraction for United and their new manager. And perhaps more importantly, would anyone really want an aging star not delivering the goods and who's behaving petulantly when he isn't being given what it is that he wants? And that, of course, is more game time. I would think not, especially considering we are living in an age where more and more clubs are looking to become financially prudent, especially considering the kind of havoc that COVID has wreaked on everyone's books. But enough about how I feel. What do you guys think? Do you think Ronaldo's reprimanding was fair enough and that United should probably use him less? Or do you think more effort should be made to integrate Ronaldo and that maybe, just maybe, he might have a little bit more of a future left at United after all? Do let us know in the comments below, and of course don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and do tap the bell icon too. Then you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram as well. Thank you all so much for joining us. As always, I've been Shane Dias and I hope to see you all through the day, but for now,